Monarchy. A monarchy is a form of government ruled by a monarch, usually a king, queen, emperor, or sultan. In most monarchies, power is passed down through a royal family from generation to generation, typically to the oldest child. Thousands of years ago, monarchies dominated the world. Today, they still exist, but in very different forms. Some modern monarchies include United Kingdom, Japan, Spain, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Saudi Arabia, Thailand. But not all monarchies work the same way. There are two major types. The first is constitutional monarchy. In this system, the monarch serves mostly as a symbolic figure, while elected officials run the government. Countries like the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Japan follow this model. The second type is absolute monarchy. Here, the monarch holds most or all political power. Saudi Arabia and Brunei are examples of absolute monarchies. Interestingly, Japan has the oldest continuous monarchy in the world, with an imperial family that traces back more than 1,000 years. The main advantage of monarchies is stability and continuity. However, the biggest weakness is that leadership depends on birth rather than ability, which can sometimes lead to ineffective rulers. Democracy. Democracy is one of the most widely used systems today. The word democracy comes from ancient Greek and means rule by the people. In a democracy, citizens choose their leaders through elections and influence laws through voting. The earliest known democracy appeared in ancient Athens, where citizens directly voted on decisions. Today, most democracies are representative democracies, where people elect leaders to make decisions on their behalf. Countries often considered strong democracies include Norway, New Zealand, Canada, Sweden, Germany. Democracy offers several advantages, including peaceful transfers of power, protection of rights, and public participation. However, democracy also has challenges. Frequent elections can slow decision-making, and political divisions sometimes create instability. Republic. A republic is often confused with democracy, but they are not the same. A republic is a system where the country is considered a public matter, and leaders are elected rather than inherited. In a republic, power belongs to the citizens, and government officials act as representatives of the people. A republic can be democratic, but it can also be authoritarian. This is an important distinction. For example, the United States is a democratic republic, where leaders are elected through free elections. However, some countries call themselves republics while still restricting political competition or limiting freedoms. This means that republic describes how leaders are chosen, while democracy describes how much power the people actually have. There are also different types of republics: presidential republics, parliamentary republics, semi-presidential republics. Each one works differently. The concept of a republic dates back to ancient Rome, where citizens elected officials to govern the state. One fascinating example is San Marino, which claims to be the oldest republic still in existence, founded in the year 301. Republics can provide strong representation and accountability. However, they also depend heavily on political institutions and trust in leadership. If corruption becomes widespread, republics can struggle to function effectively. Presidential system. In a presidential system, the president is both the head of state and the head of government. The president is usually elected independently from the legislature and holds significant executive power. Countries with presidential systems include United States, Brazil, Indonesia, South Korea, Mexico. This system creates a clear separation between branches of government. The main advantage is stability and strong leadership. However, the downside is that too much power can concentrate in one individual. Parliamentary system. In a parliamentary system, the government is led by a prime minister rather than a president. The prime minister is typically the leader of the political party that holds the most seats in parliament. Countries using parliamentary systems include United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, Japan, Australia. Parliamentary systems often allow for faster decision-making and flexibility. However, governments can collapse if they lose parliamentary support, leading to frequent elections. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps support the channel and allows us to keep creating content like this. Semi-presidential system. Some countries combine presidential and parliamentary systems. This is called a semi-presidential system. In these systems, both a president and a prime minister share power. Examples include France, Portugal, Ukraine. This structure attempts to balance power and prevent concentration of authority. Federal system. A federal system divides power between national and regional governments. States or provinces have their own laws and leaders, but remain part of one country. Examples include United States, Germany, India, Australia. Federalism works well in large countries with diverse populations. However, it can create economic inequality between regions. Unitary system. A unitary state concentrates power in a central government. Regional authorities have limited independence. Examples include France, Japan, Sweden. Unitary systems often allow faster decision-making and stronger central control. Oligarchy. An oligarchy is a system where a small group holds power. These groups may include wealthy individuals, military leaders, or influential families. Oligarchies often emerge when economic power becomes concentrated. The main concern is inequality and limited representation. Autocracy. An autocracy is when one person holds supreme power. The leader's decisions are rarely challenged. Autocracies can sometimes provide stability, but they also risk abuse of power. Dictatorship. A dictatorship is a form of autocracy where one leader holds absolute authority. Dictators often restrict political opposition and control media. Historically, dictatorships have emerged during crises or instability. Totalitarianism. Totalitarian governments attempt to control nearly every aspect of life. This includes politics, economy, media, education, personal freedoms. These systems rely heavily on surveillance and propaganda. Socialism. Socialism is primarily an economic system, but often influences government structures. In socialist systems, the government plays a significant role in managing resources and reducing inequality. Different countries apply socialism in different ways. Some combine socialism with democracy. Communism. Communism aims to create a classless society where property is shared. Historically, communist systems have involved strong centralized control. Modern communist states include China, Cuba, Vietnam, Laos, North Korea. Theocracy. A theocracy is a system where religious leaders govern. Laws are based on religious principles. Some countries incorporate religious governance into their political systems. Military Junta. A military junta is when military leaders take control of government. These systems often emerge after coups. Military governments usually promise stability, but may restrict freedoms. Technocracy. Technocracy is ruled by experts. Scientists, economists, and professionals make decisions. Some believe technocracy could improve efficiency. Anarchy. Anarchy refers to the absence of a central government. In theory, communities govern themselves. In practice, this system often struggles with coordination and stability. There is no perfect form of government. Each system reflects history, culture, and societal values. Some countries succeed with monarchies, others thrive under democracies, and some continue to experiment with hybrid systems. Understanding these forms of government helps us better understand global politics, history, and the world around us. And now, when you hear terms like republic, democracy, or monarchy, you'll actually know what they mean. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We break down complex topics in a way that's easy to understand and actually interesting to watch. Also, tell us in the comments, which form of government do you think works best? And which one would you never want to live under? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.